Welcome everybody to the Q&A for When Today Ends. I'm going to bring in our presenters, if I can find them all. There's one. Okay. If I can find everybody here. Who are we missing? Where's Michelle?
Michelle and Jackson.
There's Michelle. There's Jackson. I feel like we're still missing somebody.
Jackson. I think he's about to pop up.
So he's here somewhere because he's lit. Can you hear us, Jackson? Wow, that's so weird.
Thank you, Angela.
Thank you, Angela.
All right, so Jackson seems to be MIA, but hopefully he'll join us in a moment. All right, so everybody can hear us. I'm John Fitzgerald. I'm one of the co-founders of this fun little event we pulled together, and thrilled to get to present this terrific film, a sneak preview, as it were. Thank you, Michelle, for bringing this to us. I'm going to let you introduce your team, and then we'll jump into the questions. And while you're talking, I see Jackson's trying to figure this out, so I'm going to try and bring him back.
Okay, perfect. So hi, everyone. My name is Michelle Kalfer. I'm one of the producers of When Today Ends. Also joining us is Erica Katzen, my business partner and producing partner on When Today Ends and others, as well as Derek Breezy, who's one of the stars of the film. He plays the character of James, and Jackson Minkowski, who plays his brother Brandon, and also wrote all of the music that you hear in the film. So, hi.
Awesome.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining.
Can we hear you, Jackson?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome.
Perfect. Okay, cool.
Love it when a plan comes together. Well,
Wow.
Let's jump right in. It's late. I know there's probably some people here from the East Coast. So maybe Michelle, you could tell us kind of the origins of this project and how you jumped into it and how it all came together.
Yeah, well, okay, so we have a production company called an 1111 Experience, and we're really passionate about doing work that has impact, or, has a message, something that can affect some change. And, the writer-director, Michael Leone, who also sends his regards, unfortunately, he couldn't be with us tonight, but, he started seeing a lot of stories about teenagers. Obviously teen suicide's been a thing, but it was on the increase. And, kids were doing it live on social media, which was absolutely shocking. For all of us, but for him especially. And he was like, we have to do something about this. And, and then, there's other obviously important messages and topics woven into the story, transgender rights and bullying online and otherwise. So, Michael really cares about using his art to say something of importance. So, yeah, and I think Erica and I are just on that ship for sure. We're all kind of cut from the same cloth, so yeah, really passionate about doing.
That's terrific.
Yeah.
That's terrific. I'm a big fan of social impact movies, as you know. So
yes,
it's terrific to kick the festival off with yours. So I know Michael's not here, but we got other players and cast members. I mean, since you were on the other side of the camera, how was the flow and the shooting of this? I mean, the structure and the style was so unique. Going in, that must have been kind of strange, right? I mean, tell us a little bit about that process.
I mean, it was incredible. I'll remember it for the rest of my life, that's for sure. The cast, the crew, Michael, Erica, Michelle, they made a family. It was one big family for sure. We stayed at the house, and it was very interesting videotaping yourself while trying to act. It was a lot of fun. But like what she said, we're here to change the world. We're trying to, spread a message. We're being voices for the people that don't have a voice, for sure. Yeah. And it was a lot of fun, to say the least.
And yeah. Jackson, in terms of the music and playback and all that, tell us how that was layered in and how that was for you.
It was crazy because we did each audio file that I wrote the title track When Today Ends for the movie, and that was the one that I wrote. And so I ended up doing a computer demo of that just at my computer at home. And then I went into an actual studio, and then we used that for the ending, what you hear at the end of the movie. We used that audio file to put at the end of the movie. And then all the other songs I had actually previously written, but I had written them around the same time that I was being asked to write some music for the movie. And they happened to fit like my lyrics and the song and the melody. I almost felt like I was kind of tapping into some kind of I don't know, like wave energy pool where it's like it just fits in. And the music that I had written before the movie fit in kind of perfectly with what was going on in the film. And so it was all the tracks were kind of recorded in different locations and different times of my life from different experiences, but they all fit together. And after I just saw it for the first time when it's all done right now, and I'm stoked about how they all sounded in the movie and where they were placed, because I think it adds a lot to the film. And I also think because I was thinking when we put them on there, how am I gonna think about these songs in a year from now? You know what I mean? Because you always do. Right. But I'm actually really happy about it that I have a younger voice, and I think it adds to the film because it's from a perspective of somebody from that age, from the same age as the people in the film. So I think it adds to it now, and I don't. I'm just really happy about it all.
Yeah, well, it should be. It's. I think it's terrific when I mean, not to sound cliche, but when stories weave music and a character who plays music into the world of the film. I think it's great. It's not an easy thing to do, and when you can do it and have it feel seamless and really connected, it's pretty special.
I'm really grateful that we have such an amazing team on this film to be able to put it all together in such a impactful way, because it wouldn't have been able to be impactful without the sound design and the Michael and everybody else. And so I'm just happy that I could have this opportunity.
Terrific. Just curious about the shooting style. Obviously, again, we talked about the structure and it being unique, to say the least. Did Michael keep you guys ever in the dark about some things just to kind of get shock factor happening, or was everything totally scripted and you knew what was coming? It was on the call sheet and by the numbers.
I would say everything was pretty clear.
Okay.
He helped us do a lot. He coached me to try to do the camera work, and again with this kind of subject matter, they made a very safe environment to be able to work and go into these dark, deep places. Because I mean, some of this happened to me, and it's a very touchy subject for me, and it's very close to my heart. And I'm so honored to be a part of something like this because I'm a voice for those kids that don't have a voice. I never had a voice, so it was such a great environment, and he and Michelle and Erica made it such a safe place to be an artist for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Michelle, is there anything you want to share before we jump into some questions from the audience? I see some questions here.
What do I want to share? Maybe just some sort of factoids, each storyline was filmed separately. So each storyline was almost like filming a short film. So it was progressively done over the course of a year and change, each storyline separate. And yeah, like Derek was saying, Michael works a lot with the actors in advance. I mean, he's always, he's what I would call an actor's director. You know what I mean? He really cares about the human part of the story. And so it was really important to him that the actors weren't going to be, frazzled with the camera because they really did, a huge chunk of their own filming. And each storyline was a different camera as well, because he wanted a different feel for each one. So, I mean, I think we may have collectively used 7 to 10 cameras on this shoot. Which is,
and the actors, he worked with the actors. I think each one, the minimum he worked with the actors was, I mean, up to like, 6 or 7 months prior to get them really comfortable, not only with the cameras, but with just the character and just the whole journey they were going to be taking, both technically and kind of emotionally, artistically.
Yeah, because it was really important. Sorry, Derek. It was really important. Safe, right? Like I was just echoing your point, is that it was really important that he felt safe, because Derek was telling a story that was so close to him, and Gavin was telling Nicole's story, which is super sensitive. So, sorry.
We were able to take that leap without, fearing of falling, for sure.
That's great. Well, that's a tribute to the producers and the filmmaker, right? That there's a trust it's not hard. I remember hearing a bunch of stories about Robert Altman and how he worked with actors and to get them to do certain things. And actors wanted to work with him because he trusted him,
Yeah. So
let's jump into some questions here. And then I know we have a treat from Jackson coming later. So one of the questions here is that the topic is so important. How do you plan on getting this seen by as many people as possible? Which is awesome, because that was one of the questions I had. How do we take this from inspiration and engaging to activation, right? How do you put it to work?
Yeah, I think there's 2 levels to that, right? I think there's the movie and getting as many eyeballs in it as possible, and I think there's impact, which are probably 2 different answers, maybe also 2 different questions. But obviously getting in front of as many people as filmmakers is really important. So marketing, advertising, grassroots, like nobody's business really is going to be the effort here. Like we're working with some influencers and really people who care about teen suicide already, and really kind of activating them to get involved and create sort of movement around the project, which will then in turn lead to that kind of impact. I think it's really important that we're talking about this. Like when we first started this film, kids were committing suicide live on social media, YouTube, Facebook, and then Instagram. And now we just got word today that there are kids attempting on Zoom calls in classes, like live. So it is as relevant as ever, and it's really important that we start talking to kids. I mean, they're in lockdown right now. They're emotionally, they're already in an emotionally, turbulent age. So yeah, really important that we get to the kids and the people that are around them to start really, because prevention is really the only answer. You got to get to a kid before it happens, right? And there's so many layers to that, but yeah.
Yeah, it's a really hard subject. I showed a film at a festival a couple years ago called I Am Holden, about a kid that took his own life, and it happens in the opening scene, and then you kind of go back to get to that point. It's another interesting, stylistically made film, but yeah, it's a really, really intense subject, and I've got a 18-year-old daughter, and yeah, some of her friends have tackled issues like this. It's and the sad thing is it's growing, as you guys know. So on a lighter note, let's look at some of the brighter spots. One of the questions here is, with such a difficult topic, what were some of the bright spots and the hope that you found through making this film? I know Derek touched on it a little bit, but anything else you want to share? Go for it.
Yeah, Jackson, you can go ahead.
Wait, no, I want you to go first.
Okay. Like I said before, I was an athlete. Acting was a passion of mine, and I came into acting trying to change the world. And I'm so honored to be able to work with Michael, Erica, Michelle, Jackson. We're all here for the right reasons. Like with me, I would rather take physical abuse over any other mental abuse. It's scary being bullied on the other side when you're being told these things and you don't really have anyone to turn to. I was lucky to have my great parents. I was lucky to have my faith. I'm so gracious. I have a lot of gratitude for Erica, Michael, and Michelle. they got me out. They helped me out through these things. And the big hope for me doing this is like, we're starting that conversation. That's the only thing we got to talk about it. If we're not talking about it, then it's like, is it even real? So we're starting this conversation. And that's the hope for me, is like, we're making a change for sure.
Right. Jackson, do you want to add to that some of the bright spots?
The way that Michael would bring artists and creative people together was like unlike I'd ever seen, honestly, before. And any other, and through music, I've been in a lot of just like, I've had a lot of experiences with people, and I just think he's a great leader. And I think the film was just put together in a very like loving way by very loving people. And me and Derek are both from Wisconsin, and he had just recently moved to Los Angeles, and I didn't know anybody either. And so we basically met each other, and we were like, wow, we can relate to a few things, you know. And now we're friends, and it's awesome. And so I met a lot of awesome, like amazing people from this film, and people that I still talk to, which you don't usually you do a project and you're like, okay, it's like, it's in the past, you know what I mean? But this is something that can't be in the past, you know? It's like, we still have these relationships and these friendships, and it's awesome. And I can't wait to see like what this, you know, amazing group of people is going to like continue on to do. And I met my girlfriend technically because of this role, because, and that's another thing, because Jackie, who did amazing in the film, she invited me to a party, and I met my girlfriend Katie, and we've been together for like a year now, and it's like crazy.
That's a bright spot.
Yeah, and also like this is the first time I had any of my songs in a movie, which was like incredible, and I'm like extremely proud of this project. So a lot of great things came from it, I'd say.
I have one little bright spot to add before you move on. Is in the end of the film, you see a huge grid of kids from all over the country. And those are real kids. They're not actors. And so I think one of the bright spots is engaging them into today ends, I'm going to do something good for somebody else. I think that's the bright spot for me, is the hope at the end of the movie. So, yeah.
That's wonderful. Yeah. You know of Kind Bars? Have you seen Kind Bars?
Yeah, of course.
They had a whole slogan around trying to do something kind for somebody today, and we did this whole campaign around that. You guys should reach out to them.
Yeah,
an interesting partner.
Yeah,
partner for you to have. So you guys all just kind of came full circle on the idea that, you know, this was a great family, and you enjoyed working on this project, and it was inspirational, and it's great, right? When you have a group and you kind of, it's almost like you want to keep the band together and go do something else. Are any of you talking about other projects, tackling more inspirational projects like this that you want to talk about?
Absolutely. Erica, do you want to? Want me
Well,
to?
I mean, yeah, we can tag team. I mean, every project that we do has a message. They're all centered around, you know, saying something, whatever the topic may be. And I think touching on the previous question and what you were just saying, John, is that is part of the bright spot, because a lot of the films we do tend to focus on fairly dark topics that, you know, we want to shine a light on for people, is that the community that Michael creates on a set is kind of like Jackson and Derek were saying, is very much becomes a family. And he is very focused on making sure that every artist he works with feels like they have a voice, that they have a real presence, whether it's the caterer or the set designer or the actors or, you know, the people doing lights and sound. Like, so we do sort of form a collective that we like to bring along into all the projects we do. And yes, we have other projects coming up that are focused on different and very strong messages as well that we feel should be highlighted to society.
I'm going to plug them, right?
Yeah.
So
I'm very excited about these projects, by the way.
It's my job. Like, I'd be fired if I didn't plug them. So we just finished a documentary called American Street Kid. americanstreetkid.com, which is about homeless youth. And there's an entire impact and action campaign around that too, but you can get the movie on Amazon and other Google Play, etc. And then we have a project coming up after this one called Famous, which deals with sexual abuse. It deals with the abuse of power, you know, a lot of very relevant subjects. So, yes.
Well, I have one more question I'm going to throw out here, and then I'm going to ask you to kind of tell everybody how they can find you and follow you and track this film, as I'm assuming it's going to find the right distribution and it'll come out into the world. But one of the questions was, which is great because I was going to say this anyway, ask how they can get involved. How can they learn more about this issue and take action? And I actually there's a section of the map that a lot of people probably haven't seen yet, but it's called the Impact Expo. And if you click on the Impact Expo, it takes you to a page where you can learn about the issues that many of these films, obviously including yours, talk about. And we have links to those charities. They've all been researched. Charity Navigator, credibility, because you know there's a lot of scams out there. There's legitimate charities there. You can take action, you can make a donation, or just visit the website and learn more about these issues. And yours is definitely on that page. I think there's, I'm going to say, 8 or 9 different categories that we're covering in this festival, and I'm really proud of that because I believe very strongly in the power of film to help create change. So kudos
really,
to you guys.
Thank you. The film has distribution and is being released digitally worldwide February 9th.
Good day.
It up. Yeah.
It's my birthday.
Oh, it is.
Well,
see, I knew that.
happy birthday.
Good luck.
Happy New Year.
I'm going to be 25.
That's wow. Congratulations. Youngin'. You're a youngin'. Yeah, so it's got distribution. And we're working on some partnerships right now. I mean, naturally, we work with the suicide prevention lifeline, which is probably the biggest out there. And if you can support them, they really do amazing work. It's 24/7 hotline for people. I mean, the number shows up probably 20 times in our film. So, you know, they're an amazing organization that really work really hard in you know, helping people through the tough moments, but also in prevention. So they have a lot of data on their website. And our website's currently in redevelopment mode, but it is whentodayensmovie.com. And also our Instagram is whentodayensmovie. So I suggest following us on Instagram, and then you'll get updates on, you know, all of the information as we get closer to February.
Yeah, and I think, you know, you've all raised the point in your own way, but I think it's really critical, especially for an issue like this. It's more about getting the conversation going and education, and just keeping the dialogue moving, right? It's the denial and the escape and the I don't want to talk about it or hear about it. That's where we get into trouble. And I think if you just keep people talking about it, you know, and so staying in touch with you guys through social and tracking the film through distribution, I'm sure it'll have an amazing impact campaign.
Yes.
It's awesome. All right, so I'm gonna let Michelle tee up the next stage of this Q&A because it's kind of special. So why don't you share the news?
So we asked Jackson if he would be so kind as to perform the title song from the film When Today Ends, and he so graciously said yes. So ladies and gentlemen, Jackson Minkowski.
So before Jackson jumps into his song, so everybody can see loud and clear, is there anything else anybody wants to say? Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring us down. If we turn our cameras off, then he'll be bigger and everybody can see him. Anything else you want to say, Michelle?
I told anybody that is facing these kind of issues, mentally, physically, anything, try to help. Talk to them, because that's the only way you can help. Don't just be like, oh, it'll be fine, because mostly they're not going to be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they're fine, they're not fine. So
good point.
Thank you for watching too, and it means the world to us. for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for your lovely questions and for being here today. We all appreciate it.
And also sometimes it's the happiest people and the ones who are usually helping everyone else who are having the hardest time, you know. And so I want to just say that. And also, it's just good to reach out to your loved ones and just to your friends, and just I try to do it like once every 2 weeks, like try to text like a lot of my friends and just kind of be like, hey, what's up, you know, or something, just to let them know that you're thinking about them. And because especially in 2020, like I'm extremely grateful that this movie is coming out in 2021. Now, especially since, you know, unfortunately, like the pandemic and the numbers are getting, you know, bigger again right now. This is such an important time that this film was coming out, to kind of spread the word right now, because it's just a really hard time for so many people, and so many people need like love and need people to reach out to them, and need to like talk, you know, or somehow get whatever's inside out of them. And it's just sometimes hard to do that as humans, and sometimes maybe their jobs have been taken away from them, maybe like they can't go to school, or like and they're having bad home situations. Like we never know, and everyone has their own problems that are, you know, huge to them, and like we all have our own subjective lives that, and we can't really understand like what it's like in their shoes. And so
Oh no.
He'll come back.
Uh-oh.
Oh no, do we have to refresh Jackson? He could probably hear us.
Oh no, you froze, babe.
Oh no.
Maybe he'll come back.
oh, are we back?
Oh,
There he
hey.
is.
There we go. Okay. No, but yeah, I just want to say that before I get started. And I'm just really happy that this film's coming out in 2021 for that.
Awesome. All right, we're going to turn our cameras off, and it's all you, Jackson. Thank you again for bringing us this great movie. People will get to check it out in our video on demand library.
Are we going to
Thank
end
you.
a call after this? Is that what's going on? Or are we going to like close this out?
We're going to wrap it up.
All right.
Yep.
Well, it's good to see you guys.
You too.
You
And
guys
thank
can
you
go back
everyone
and
who
talk
was
after the
watching.
presentation. You guys can go back and talk at the tables.
Oh, cool. Awesome. All right.
And you come to the happy hour tomorrow night, 5 o'clock in the Slim.
Jackson, kill it, man.
Thanks,
Scott.
Thank you for doing this, Jackson.
Thank
Nice
you.
to meet you all. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Nice to meet you, John.
You got it.
All right. Well, if my connection goes out and this doesn't work for a second, I'm really sorry. I'm going to try my best. But this is the song I wrote for the film called When Today Ends. And it goes like this. Help. Something's wrong with me. What can I be? Like anyone else to say, I'm here to talk, and then you'll survive. And just give it time. Well, I've tried. Help. Well, I can't hide myself any longer. They've broken down my walls and they're getting stronger. Now I'm crawling through. Just wait till dawn. But when the morning comes, it won't be long until the pain is gone. Keep holding on, 'cause I might be gone when the day ends. Stay a little while longer. Nobody wants you to leave. You shine so bright that it's hard for them to see. But you're the light. You're the light that we need. Just wait till dawn. And when the morning comes, it won't be long until the pain is gone. holding on, 'cause I can't lose a friend. When the day ends, I know you're living in the dark without a light. It can be so hard sometimes, but there are people who pray every night, just fighting for the choice to fight, so fight for their life. Help, something's wrong with my best friend. I need a helping hand. They're on the edge and my heart's suspended. Help, well, I need you now to help me out, be around. You're the reason why I'm still alive. Just wait till dawn. When the morning comes, it won't be long until the pain is gone. Keep holding on, keep holding on, keep holding on, keep holding on. And the day ends. All right. There we go. I can't hear you, but
Thank you. That was amazing.
wow, thank you. Did it go all the way through?
All the way through. Everything worked great.
All right. That's
All
good
right,
job.
everyone. We're gonna
Wow, thank you guys.
thank you again for coming. Tell people they could still see your movie at the festival for the next few days.
Go
So
see it again. Tell
check it
everybody.
out.
Yeah.
And keep talking. Keep up the fight.
Yep.
Right.
Keep that conversation going.
All right, you guys.
Right.
Be well. Thank you so much for sharing this film.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you all.
I was saying thank you, but you didn't hear me because my mic was off. So thank you.
I love you all. Thank you all so much.
I love you too. Miss you guys. Miss you.
Yeah, you too, really. Bye, Derek. Good to talk to you.
See you, big guy.
Yeah. All right.